You're listening to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. This is episode 46, and today's topic is alien abductions. Hey everyone, Adam Muselli here. Welcome to the Dynamic Thinking Project podcast. If this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. This podcast is released every Friday, and show notes are found at the website, themindtechinstitute.com. It's all one word. Come back often and feel free to add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All links are in the show notes and website. And now, let's get started. From being strapped down to a metallic type bed by supposedly alien abductors to blacking out for hours and sometimes for days, people across the globe claim to have had incredible experiences with what's supposed to be alien abductions. This is gonna be an interesting episode, and as usual, lots of people will relate to it. Other people will deny and think it's utterly ridiculous, and many other people, as most of my listeners, will keep an open mind since you are an intelligent person and you would know that we don't know what we don't know. And I believe that's more than enough to encourage you to keep an open mind. In the previous episode, I explained what aliens might be, and there are tons of theological, religious, and scientific evidence that we are not alone in this universe. I mean, what a waste of cosmic space if we are alone in this universe, or even if we are the most intelligent or the most evolved species in this endless universe. That would be really disappointing. So this episode isn't going to be about some alien abduction cases, although I've came across some really bizarre ones during my career as a psychologist and a hypnotherapist, and sometimes many of our hypnotherapy graduates share with us some strange cases they have also came across with their clients. And by the way, if you would like to study and become a fully qualified hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, a life coach, or even a counselor, now you can study all that totally online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com, and you will find all these courses along with many other courses once you click on the online courses tab. And also all our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. And for more information, all can be found on the website, themindtechinstitute.com. Going back to our main topic, there are millions of people across the globe claim to have been abducted by aliens onto a craft of some sort and being experimented on or even impregnated. And there are some other people claim they are alien human hybrids after their mothers were taken and injected with some extraterrestrial DNA. And keep in mind that there are some people who claim to be abductees just for attention or some personal gain, or they could even be just shills. You can go back to episode 24, if you want to know more about what shields are. Of course, some people might have a dream or their imagination found a way to vent out by presenting some inner conflict or fear through being abducted by something. And some people, they might just have watched some alien abduction movies before they went to bed and then started to see everything as a dream. So yes, we do understand that not every case is an alien abduction. And we had a lady once, she thought she was abducted by aliens, while we found out later during a hypnotic regression session that she was actually drugged and abducted by her obsessed ex-stepfather. And because of the trauma, she actually thought she was abducted by aliens. And later we informed the authorities and they did their investigations, and lots of evidence of the crime were found just as she described them during the hypnotic regression session. Keep in mind that the subconscious mind contains everything you have experienced consciously and subconsciously. Everything you have experienced is stored in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, as we teach in our hypnotherapy training, the subconscious mind is like a biological hard drive. Everything, no matter what it is, even the ones you're not even aware of, are stored in your subconscious mind. And that's why we always advise to go to a qualified hypnotherapist, not just someone who learned few tricks. The hypnotherapy profession can be very rewarding, especially in helping others. And that's exactly what we teach in our in-class and our online hypnosis training. You can visit the mindtechinstitute.com and you'll find all the information you need on that page, or simply you can just contact us. Now, let's talk about some signs of alien abductions. Or first, actually, let's define what a close encounter is, because there are 7 different classes, and that actually makes our job easier. Thanks to astronomer J. Allen Hynek, who in 1972 proposed that there are 3 types of close encounters that a human can have with beings that we would refer to extraterrestrials. In his book, The UFO Experience, a Scientific Inquiry, Hynek's goal was to get researchers and regular people moving beyond superstition and moving beyond panic and outright absurdity in some cases, and thinking in a more rational and objective manner. In doing so, Hynek outlined close encounters of the first to the 3rd kind. And over the years, many people have taken those 3 types of encounters and expanded them into a number of subcategories and even an extended list which outlines 7 different categories of close encounters. Now, a brief about those 7 close encounters. The first close encounter, or close encounter of the first kind, as it is mentioned, is a sighting in which one or more unidentified flying objects have been spotted. Now, this would include objects loosely described as flying sources, objects which cannot be attributed to known human technology that appear in the sky, or strange lights for which no rational explanation can be offered. A close encounter of the second kind is one in which a UFO, and UFO it stands for unidentified flying object. So anything unidentified is considered as a UFO. So a close encounter of the second kind is one in which a UFO has been spotted, but there is an associated phenomena that accompanies it. Now, the phenomena can be, for example, a crop circle. Probably we'll do a whole episode about that too. It could be a terrain damage. It could be a scarred or mutilated animal. Also, electronic and mechanical interference, gaps in memory as lost time, heat or radiation, catalepsy such as paralysis, or some form of unnatural physical occurrence. Close encounters of the third kind would be those in which a UFO has been spotted, but go further to include a visual confirmation of an animate object that is associated with the UFO. A close encounter of the fourth kind is one in which a human is abducted by an extraterrestrial. And actually there is a movie called The Fourth Kind. It's a really good movie, but a bit scary for some people. There are lots of movies about alien abductions. Some movies are based on real stories, some movies based on the imagination of the writer. Now, a close encounter of the fifth kind is one in which there is a bilateral contact with an extraterrestrial entity. Now, this can be through some audible form of communication or by some form of mental, telepathic communication. The contact can be initiated by either the human or the extraterrestrial. A close encounter of the sixth kind initials a UFO or its inhabitants directly causing injury or death. A close encounter of the seventh kind is one in which a human and extraterrestrial mate to produce a hybrid being. Now, this hardly a new theory, but it actually dates back to the ancient Egyptians, according to some translations of ancient texts. Even if you look at some Egyptian hieroglyphs and you see some pharaohs with a dog head, such as Anubis, a crocodile head, or even a frog, such as, what's his name? They made lots of memes about him, Kek. That also was one of the pharaohs, one of the gods. I mean, that could be a form of hybridization. Now, I know this could be a bit hard to digest by some religious people and mainstream science too, but look at the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, and other books where if you really read between the lines and in context, I'm not saying to as in cherry picking. No, I'm not saying to read out of context. No, to stay within the context, but read between the lines. You will find some genetic manipulations in those books. And in science, if you don't know how it's done, it doesn't mean it cannot be done. I mean, hybridization isn't actually impossible in science, but again, we'll leave that for another episode. So that was a brief on the classes of encounters. Now here are some signs of real alien abductions, and almost every abductee have reported some of those following symptoms. At night, as before you go to bed, you have a chronic insomnia and you hear a tapping or humming noise just as you are dropping off to sleep. You may also dream of aliens and UFOs directly, or you may dream of vaguely mysterious beings, but you may not know details. Also, you have the feeling you're being watched, especially as you are dropping off to sleep. Or you wake up in the middle of the night because you think someone or something is watching you. You may even see one or more shadowy figures standing around the bed watching you. We'll also do a whole episode about something called the dark shadows. And if you have gone to sleep in one place and woken up in another place with no, of course, explanation for how it happened, and yes, alcohol is not involved. And also for the first few seconds or minutes after awakening, you are paralyzed and cannot move your body or some parts of your body as sleep paralysis. You can also check episode 19. It's called sleep paralysis. And also sometimes you wake up and you find small drops of blood on your pillow, but there is no explanation for how they got there. If you are on the road, your car breaks down unexpectedly with no explanation, often soon after you've spotted a UFO, as some famous abduction cases such as Betty and Barney Hill, Travis Walton, and others. You pull over to the side of the road, and the next thing you remember is standing next to or driving your car. Hours or even days may have passed, but you have no memory of what happened in the meantime. Your broken down car is running again, and you have no explanation for that either. Same as the case of Gary Wood and Colin Wright, which I previously also mentioned in episode 40, Absentia and Missing People. Also, abduction during the day, you may see smoke, fog, or haze at a time and in place for which there is no logical explanation. Also, you have an unexplained, irresistible desire to walk or drive to a particular location where you believe something familiar yet unknown will soon happen. You may also experience a heightened level of anxiety in days leading up to this strange happening. Some physical changes also might occur during or after the abduction. For example, you begin to get frequent nosebleed for no known reason, and you have unexplained soreness or stiffness or maybe some mysterious rash on one or more parts of your body. There may be also be evidence that your skin have been scraped as a skin sample were taken. Also, you find new scars on your body and you have no idea how they got there. And once again, alcohol is not involved. You may also find some strange tiny cyst-like or other tiny objects implanted in your body, such as the ones Dr. Roger Lear extracted from dozens of abductees, which later were sent to a lab analysis, and results were found some very tiny devices emit scalar waves, which is a type of electromagnetic radiation. And by the way, those implants had no sign of insertion or scarring. You can check Dr. Lee's work. He passed away a few years ago, but he appeared on some documentaries and radio shows. You can easily find some of his work online. You may also have memories of having your head placed in some kind of restraining device, or long needles are inserted in your nostrils and ears, or something drills into your skull. These sensations may be accompanied by a burning smell. Now, after the abduction, there are also some signs. There may be evidence that the scene of your abduction has been staged, of course, to look as if nothing had happened, but few incorrect details might be noticeable. For example, if you went to bed wearing pajamas, you may wake up nude or dressed in only underwear, with the pajamas folded up neatly and placed at the foot of the bed. You may even wake up in the wrong room of the house. If you were abducted from your car, you may find that some items in the car or in the trunk have been moved around, and this also actually have been reported by abductees. Another thing is your ability to remember things suddenly becomes stronger. And some people even reported that they developed psychic powers that enable them to see events in the future. Also, you suddenly get a sense of a mission, or the feeling that you have been chosen for an important purpose, but you don't know what it is. Now, this often replaces feelings of low self-esteem that you had before the alien encounter. Electronic appliances behave strangely when you pass by. For example, computers crash, clock lose time, radio and TV reception gets distorted, and streetlights also go dark as you walk under them. And also you become less trusting of people, especially doctors, police, and other authority figures than you were before the abduction. You have an uncontrollable urge to take vitamins, as some people also have reported. You may also develop an interest in UFOs, in astronomy or physics. After being abducted, just suddenly you have this interest. Now, these were the major signs that abductees have reported, and maybe there are more. I'm sure there are more. Some people also reported that the whole abduction experience was a pleasant experience, and the aliens were actually friendly with them. And the aliens are extremely happy, as they're just like hyper happy beings. These abductees often felt as they want to stay with them and never come back to their normal life. That could be interpreted as the Stockholm Syndrome, but I'm not saying every person who had this feeling is experiencing the Stockholm Syndrome. And of course, the Stockholm Syndrome is the abductee starts to form a bond with the abductor. Now, you can go back to episode 33 if you want to learn more about it. On the other hand, other people have reported the abduction experience as it was the most terrifying thing that ever happened to them. And they can't even talk about it because it's terrifying to them. It's just like every person interpreted this experience in their own way. Some people, they say it was negative. Some people, they say it was a positive experience. Every person had a different experience. Basically, we have covered the major points about this topic. So let's wrap it up, and let's always keep an open mind, because we certainly don't know what we don't know. That's it for today, and once again, if you would like to study and become a fully qualified hypnotherapist, neurolinguistic programming, NLP, if you would like to become a life coach or even a counselor, now you can study all that totally online. All you have to do is visit mti.edu.au or themindtechinstitute.com. You'll find all these courses along with many other courses once you click on the online courses tab. All our diplomas and advanced diplomas are accredited and recognized worldwide. You can just go on the mindtechinstitute.com and you will find all the information you need there. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, as usual, you can email me. The email is on our website, themindtechinstitute.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are listening to this podcast on YouTube. The Dynamic Thinking Project podcast is released every Friday. Until next time, take care and enjoy your weekend. This is Adam Musalli, signing out.